It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, sponsored by Marco's Pizza, because we get hungry from time to time. We've got a lot to talk about because, rain and snow showers. It's rain mainly along the Outer Banks, but snow, some would say I didn't get enough, some would say I've had too much. But the common theme here, the common denominator, is the fact that we're going to have some black ice or refreezing going on overnight, so there could be some whoopsie. I don't want you or someone in your neighborhood to suddenly fall on their keister because they didn't know the sidewalk or the driveway had ice on it. And that's what's going to happen as we continue down this path, because temperatures are going to fall from where they are right now. Let me show you where the bright banding is occurring. What am I talking about? Where the snow is most moderate right now is in this white area here, also around Virginia Beach. Little areas here where it's really breaking up in Williamsburg. You've already seen your snow. Some areas in Williamsburg have had 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of snow from Gloucester back toward maybe even to Newport News. We're getting some reports. There were 6.5 inches reported around, say, Wakefield. So interesting to see some of these amounts that have been maybe a lot higher than what you had. Doesn't mean that they didn't get that. It just means that they had a different amount. And so that's what we're dealing with right now. So we've got to clear this off and move on to the next screen here. But I wanted to show you the current image here. It's 7:41. If you're on the call, would love to say hi to you, because this would be a great time for you to post. Are you ready for this? You can post your picture with the comment. So when you say, I got X, Y, and Z, and then you can attach, there's a camera right there. You should be able to attach your photo and it'll upload and I can put it on the screen. Wouldn't that be cool? Like, for example, this was from Noy. I think she said this is from December 4th. I think she's on here. Is she on here? She said, I can't wait to see the snow. Wowee. Yeah, maybe she didn't believe it. Now there's some believers. Now there are some believers. As you can see behind me, all of these little LSRs, as we call them, local storm reports, are beginning to filter in. It's not a complete list because they're still coming in. But the National Weather Service has several. In fact, we'll go ahead and take this full screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. If I were to just do a little, just like an inquiry here, around Wakefield, how much snow did they get? How about 6.5? I didn't get 6.5. Well, they did. Doesn't mean that they didn't. Or there's snow envy. Sometimes, I didn't get all that. Happy holidays. Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, which is actually this Sunday evening. How about Williamsburg? How much snow did they get? You want to know what they are? Well, some of the reports that Williamsburg is producing is 3 inches around Carver Gardens, measured in the Kings Mill neighborhood of Williamsburg. So this is your chance. If you have time and you just want to put that on the screen, I will upload the new comments that might be coming in, because this is a great opportunity to have some interactivity. Some activity here on this stream so that you can post your comments and your pictures. If you have a snow picture, this would be a great opportunity to do so. I got, see here, Kim Thompson-Jones is on here, wanting to say good evening. Glad to have her here. I got Taj. I think he's a big snow fan. I think he's on Team Snow. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's his comment. He says, great snowy evening. Yep, not enough. He's of that mindset. Just not enough. You know what is enough, though? We're going to wait and give you some time to upload your snow pictures, because we can do that. Put your snow picture. It'll come right here on the screen. I'm waiting for the first one to come in. But when you have a snow picture, let me know. I'll do my best to put it on the screen. David Bird Jr. is on here. He says hello. David, it's great to have you watching live. One of the other nice things about having a live stream focused on weather is that sometimes we get hungry. And I can tell you this, one of the cool things that we're looking at right now this week, it's an abbreviated week, but we have the $5 Pozzolis this week. Our friends at Marco's is kind enough to offer the Pozzoli, which usually is pretty close to twice this price. $5 Pozzolis, whether it be pepperoni and sausage, which is my personal favorite, the chicken bacon ranch, or the buffalo chicken. If you go to marcos.com and use the promo code, our call letters, WTKR David, you can get a $5 Pozzoli, just like that. The price will reduce to $5 right in front of your very eyes when you go to the site. But there are only 6 locations that are doing the $5 Pozzoli, 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk. And if you want to be a winner of pizzas, which will come a lot sooner this week than you think. It's going to come a lot sooner than Thursdays. We're going to give away pizza for a year. We did that last week. Your name could be on there. You could get actually 12 pizza pies with one topping that are large every month for free. I tell you what, that's a real deal, if not a steal. So you'll love that if you win. Pozzolis are on the left. The Magnifico's on the right. There's some options you can grab. So to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. All right, coming back to the snow, 3 inches in Carver Gardens. Did you get 3 inches of snow today? If you did, I'd like to know about it. If you didn't, that's okay. I mean, winter's still early, right? Last I checked, it's the 8th of December. But I can go back to the full screen here, and we can do maybe one more little inquiry here. Let's see, where should we go? Maybe we'll do a little question mark over here. Let's see, maybe, where's this? This is actually snow accumulation in Hallwood, had 1.25. Had somebody in Accomack County, northern Accomack, so they had only a few flurries. So, I mean, it's really the story of the haves and have-nots. Or the snow and snow knots, because you look areas around Richmond, they had quite a bit of snow too. Some areas maybe around Petersburg, they had quite a bit of snow. Chester had 4 inches, and that was so far. So that's just kind of where things are in terms of the snowfall. Look at this. You can hate all you want on Team Snow, but you're gonna have to get through these 3 kids because they love it. This is Heather Marie's photo from our WTKR photographers group. This is from Newport News. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'd love to know if you have a picture like this. I'll put it on the screen. It'll actually appear right here. So you have an opportunity if you're watching me live at this moment. It is now 7:45. Got some other notes. Damian Kelly wants to share with us. Thank you so much. Highest report, 6.9 in the Menchville neighborhood of Newport News. So there you go, whopping 7 inches. Well, I can tell you this, come Wednesday, when we see our temperatures rise into the lower 50s, there'll be a rapid snow melt. But in the meantime, I'm a little concerned about the refreeze tonight, the concern that you're going to have the potential for a whoopsie, and if it's not you because you're smarter than the average bear, you are the smartest person in your neighborhood, help the others that might not know this information, right? Because we're dropping in the mid to upper 20s tonight, and so all of this ice, all of this rain, is likely to refreeze and cause some real problems on the roads. Bridges and overpasses are probably most susceptible, but even the sidewalks and driveways can really catch you off guard. But there is that element of the kids. They love it. They have fun. You can't dispute the fact that we were all kids one time. At one time, you would have loved to put a carrot in the middle of the nose of their biggest snowball there, or the smallest one at the top. Anyway, thank you, Heather Marie. Current wind gusts, you throw in the winds. They're gnarly. They're nasty. I got Kim Thompson-Jones. She's on here. She's interacting with me. She says it's Team Snow, baby. That's what and I'm with you. Now, one thing I've learned in my time being here and being in other places, other markets, I can find, to come back on camera, I can find a whole group of people who are rooting. Like, I'm rooting for the Eagles tonight, rooting for the Eagles, go Birds, but I'm also rooting for Team Snow. Some people will be on Team Snow or they think they are, but then they have that realization that this is the most stressful time of the year. They've got holiday cards, they got presents to buy, they got this, they got that. They're like, I don't need any more conflicts at getting to work or school, Aldrich, make it go away, and suddenly they defect. Do you know what I'm saying? They think they're on Team Snow, but when the rubber hits the road and the snowflakes hit the pavement, then they go, I'm on Team Spring. I'm on Team Summer. You know what I mean? So there's be a fickle. It can be, sometimes they go, I've had enough. I've had my due. By the way, Norfolk has had 0.2 as of 5 o'clock. That's all we've had in terms of snow. 0.2. That's what we had back on Veterans Day. So we're now a whopping 0.4, not even a half inch for the season. We'll get more updates from the Weather Service in due time. All right, so here are the winds. This is the other big story. Norfolk, 40 miles an hour. And if I'm not mistaken, that is a snow-covered scope. Normally the scope where the Norfolk Admirals play hockey, minor league hockey, is brown. But no, it's snow-covered. And even the grassy areas in the court, all snow covered. So you can say, oh, when Norfolk didn't get diddly-do. Okay, well, because it rained a good portion of the time. And sometimes, as I said during the 4 o'clock news, because when I posted my thing, people say, oh, this is just a tease. You're teasing. You know what? You have to wait till it gets dark for the mischief to come out. And that's what happened. As soon as it got dark, the scope turned white on the roof, and the grass started turning white, and the slush, and makes really good snowballs. You don't believe me? Go outside and try and make a snowball. It's not dry, it's very wet, and that's why when it refreezes, it could have a big whoopsie-doo, whoopsie-daisy, people fall on their keister. I don't want that to happen. So please be aware that if you're not out and about tonight, maybe you just limit your outdoor activity till the temperatures get above freezing tomorrow morning, later in the morning. Our temperature change right now about -6, -7. Our current temperature at 7:49 is still above freezing in Norfolk at 33, but it's below freezing in Virginia Beach. And we've had a little banding of heavy snow in the Virginia Chesapeake area in the last hour. It's already 28 in Wakefield. What did we heard from them? What, 6.5? They got a snowpack on the ground. Whoa, that's amazing. I mean, what season is this? This is kind of weird. Well, I had said this would be a front-end loaded winter. How more front-end loaded could you be on the 8th of December? We had snow on Veterans Day. We had snow on Friday, the day after I was at the Christmas Village. So there are opportunities where we're going to get more snow. And when you see the 7-day, you're going to think, what happened? And I'm going to explain the sudden stratospheric warming. The first wave is coming in. Because I had shown this image back, I guess, back on the 18th when I first started doing this. I think I have this on here. Yeah, this was, actually it was November 25th. I think I have one actually sooner than that. November, oh, I know it is. It's up here. November 18th, there it is. So when we get to the 15th to 18th of December, some of the warm air that's up in the stratosphere is going to push the cold air down, like squeezing from the bottom of your toothpaste tube. It's going to squeeze all the cold air down into parts of Hampton Roads because it will reflect on Monday. Are you ready for this? Monday the 15th, I have us for a low. Let me come back on camera here. I have us for a low of 23 and a high of 35 with some sunshine. Dry. But, I mean, a high of 35 and a low of 23. It's 28 right now in Wakefield. Some of the coldest air of the season is coming in about 7 days. If that's not first warning, I don't know what is. I was telling you back before Halloween that we would have a front-end loaded winter. We'd have more opportunities for snow in November, December, and January first 2 weeks. By the time we get to Dr. King Day, I think winter will slowly pull back. It's not to say we couldn't get snow in February, we can, but it's not going to be as intense as it is the front end of the winter season. And for records, Norfolk is running about 8 degrees below normal for December, and it's only 8 days old. Let me repeat that. Norfolk International running almost 8 degrees below normal for the first 8 days of December, and it's only a week and 1 day old. That's amazing. Now, what's it feel like with these nasty winds? It feels like 19 in Norfolk right now. Brutal. Brutal. 18 in Virginia Beach, 18 in Melfa, Jackson, 19 in Emporia. This is why I said if you have to pump gas in this weather, it's brutal if you're not wearing lots of layers. While our friends in Kitty Hawk and Manio, it's cold, but not as comparably cold as it is in other areas. Just checking in with comments if you got a note. Luke wants to know, how much snow are we getting? Well, this is now at the end of the event, so I should ask you the same question. Luke, how much did you get? Because I don't expect a whole lot more than what's already fallen. In fact, these are the low temperatures tonight. I think we're going to about 31 Virginia Beach, 26 in Suffolk, 30 in Elizabeth City, 29 in Hampton. I think we'll be below freezing easily in Norfolk, about 29 and 26 about Smithfield. So really it's going to come down to what did you already get? Because the winter storm warnings, this is where the bullseye was for the heavier snows, but there were some isolated 4s, 5s. Now I'm hearing 6.9s in the Newport News area who were under the warning. So the pink areas where the heavier snows were anticipated and the winter weather advisory pretty much stopped short the Outer Banks because they've had nothing but rain in places like Rodanthe and Duck. But yeah, this was the expectation. Is this to say everybody got 2 to 4 in those areas? No. But this was the expectation. Some would have up to 1 to 2, some would have 2 to 4. There would be isolated, some above and below. Just the way it went. And with this type of situation going on, most of the snow right now that's more moderate at this moment is in these white areas over here, now moving out to sea here. So you got some of these banding, but there are some spots where it's beginning to thin out. When you look at the snow line, this is the snow rain line right in here. It's now well to the east of Elizabeth City. It was kind of straddling Currituck for a while. It never made it to Corolla. Corolla's been warm enough to support rain, but that's where it's been pretty much sitting for the last couple of hours. And of course, you look over toward Williamsburg, you can see some areas here. And I believe I have my satellite image here, so let me take the clouds off. You can see it's already come to an end. So Luke, your question is valid. Valid question. How much snow we get? It's already ended. It's already come to a break here. Gloucester, Williamsburg, Exmoor, maybe a few more flurries. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot here. As you can see, let me go back here, take off the satellite imagery because I think the clouds on top of it muddy up the waters. But if I take the satellite image off here, you can see Williamsburg, areas around Wakefield, they've had the worst of the snow. And it's all going to be winding down here in the next hour, maybe 2 hours before it finally shuts down completely. But that's where it's all moving. It's trying to get out to sea. And as accordingly, with the temperatures dropping, the winds are driving this story. And it's been snowing in West Virginia. To be fair, all that had to move out of the picture before we saw some big improvement here. So cold air is in place, rain over Hatteras, rain over Rodanthe, Manio, and up toward Duck. But really, it's the cold air that's parked over the state of New York. They've got high pressure over the Empire State. How cold is it going to feel between now and 11 o'clock tonight? How about 17 inland? In North Carolina, 18 inland for Virginia, and by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, it could feel like it's about 19. You're talking upper teens, low 20s, and you've got the opportunity for refreeze, and whoopsie daisy, I didn't know there was ice underfoot. It's going to be there. It's just simply going to be there because unless you clear it off, it might be a good idea in the next hour if you've got your car exposed to the elements, it's not in a carport or a garage, it might be a good idea to clear it off tonight before, because then you're just going to add extra time in having to clear it off. That was some great advice we got from meteorologist Tony Nargi from earlier tonight. I think it's a pretty wise move. It is certainly going to save you some time. Let me give you tomorrow's planner. Mix of sun and clouds. I've got essentially no precipitation expected tomorrow. There might be a 10% chance of rain along the Outer Banks, but looking for a mix of clouds and sun. I think we'll start off with partly to mostly cloudy in the morning, and then noontime it's going to be mostly or partly cloudy, if not mostly sunny. Then there'll be more clouds coming in between 3 and 4, and then it'll break up a little bit. So it's really back and forth. We'll be lucky to hit 40. Lucky to hit 40. Sun still sets at 4:48. Sun's up at 7:06. Just checking in with you if you got some comments. Don't know any pictures yet. Who's got a picture? I got a picture from Nicole. I don't know if she meant to put this picture on, but it's just a snowflake. I mean, like, can you attach on the comment the little camera, if you've got a snow picture, if you're a WTKR photographer, I know you've got pictures. I've seen some of them. Love to see them. I'm going to share some of those with you during this live stream as we're about to wrap up here in the next 15 minutes. But I'd love to know what you can expect, or would love to know what you did see and what you were expecting. Let's see here. I got Luke's follow-up on me. He says, that's how I'm supposed to be getting snow, and he's hoping it sticks. Well, in some cases it did. You won't have any argument from your Newport News neighbors and those in Williamsburg because they definitely got some snow for sure. Ed wants to know when are the winds going to calm down. They won't really calm down until after midnight tonight. I suspect they're going to still gust pretty close to 35. They've gusted to 42 today, but tomorrow's winds I have 5 to 10. So if you're a light sleeper and you kind of hear the window panes rattling, it's not your imagination. It is going to slow down, and there'll be more out of the north-northeast 5 to 10 tomorrow. But until this system clears out, and there will be wind even as it exits, I think you're still looking at a gusty night tonight, but really looking for improvement before the sun comes up tomorrow. Hopefully that helps. Some of the questions, I got a note from Katrina Gate. Now I want to say to Katrina, if you've got a photo, and I know you do, Katrina, you need to upload it for me. Happy snow day. She wants to let everybody know she's excited about snow days. I love snow days. When I was a kid, some of the parents sometimes cringe because they know they have to drive through it to get to work. Sometimes it's part of the territory. But I'll keep looking at the comments. If you have a photograph, let me know. I'll see what I can do. Let's see here. Let's see. Michael Walker has a complaint or a note. Says it will not snow in Portsmouth. Why? Well, we can laugh about it. Sometimes, in fact, Portsmouth and Norfolk had so much rain, and we didn't really start seeing it stick on places like on top of the scope or in the grassy courtyard until it got after dark. So sometimes it's just the way the cookie crumbles, or in this case, the way the snowflake falls. All right, that's your temperature forecast tomorrow. Plan accordingly. It's not going to be as windy, but boy, early morning, you got some issues. Now, I've mentioned before, if you're from Norfolk, you know that the scope has usually got a brown top. It doesn't have a brown top, and neither does the courtyard. But the roads look kind of wet, and they look slushy, but when the temperature tomorrow morning is 29, it's a whoopsie. You know, people are going to start skidding on the roads, and that's why I want to urge you to make sure you give yourself some extra time. Winter weather on the docket. Snow and rain fades this evening. It's now 7:58. Still cold on Tuesday. Highs in the upper 30s. Some of us will crack 40, but really, if you're looking for a rapid snow melt, Williamsburg, if you're looking for a rapid snow melt, Newport News, you're going to find Wednesday to be your best day. Now, maybe some of it disappears during the course of tomorrow. It could melt in the upper 30s, but I think it'll be more rapid on Wednesday. Precipitation chances, as I mentioned, maybe 10% for the Outer Banks tomorrow for some rain. Outside of that, I have it dry, and dry on Wednesday, dry on Thursday. Got some spotty drops or flakes. I'll say flakes or drops possible on Friday. Saturday looks mostly sunny before we bring in more rain on Sunday. That's when the shoe will drop. So we've got 39 for a high temperature. Again, I mentioned we're about 8 degrees below normal for the first 8 days of December. That's astonishing. But 39 here, 53, 53. So really we're below normal for the next 5 days. And boy, does it get cold later next week. By the way, lows this morning, really, I believe this is our current temperature, 30. We were 30 degrees at 1:44 a.m. based on airport records. We hit 43 at 7:01 this morning. So our high temperature, low temperature all came in the morning. And I don't know if a husky is correct, but there might be having some temperature problems with their thermometer. But 27 was the low in Newport News. Now they did make it up to 41. All of these numbers came very early in the day. And because it stayed in the 40s for so long, my suspicion is that a lot of these areas here, especially 48 Elizabeth City, we didn't get in on the snow act until later in the afternoon in some cases. Current conditions show it's still snowing based on the METARs. These are the airport codes from Franklin. It's still snowing. Ahoskie, Jackson, Virginia Beach has got flakes, but it looks like it has ceased in Williamsburg here at the 8 o'clock hour. It is 8 o'clock, straight up. So my computer has now reflected the 8 o'clock observations. Kind of cool. Time for some weather trivia. Props to my dear friend and colleague, Miles Henderson. He came up with this great question. I think it's great. I mean, some of you may remember it from middle school, but how many sides or points does a snowflake have? Is it A, 6, B, 8, or C, 12? Give you like 30 seconds if you've got a guess. This is your chance to be as interactive tonight as you want to be. Love to say hi to you. Let's see. Katrina says she had uploaded some pictures earlier. Yeah, I'm unable to upload it as easily as if you could put it in the comment. Sometimes the comment will be there on the comment section here on the live stream. But if you do have a picture, anybody has a picture of their snow that they want to show, let me know. I'll put it on best on the screen as I can. Let's see. I got notes from Luke. I got notes from Katrina. Taj Brown, he has here. He says, oh, he's making a point. I love the fact he puts this. It's still snowing out of the beach and the wind is disrespectful. It is brutal. I mean, we've had a 42-mile-an-hour gust making it feel like it's in the low 20s. It is brutal, or the upper teens in some cases. You're not wrong there. Not wrong there. Okay, so any questions or any answers on this question? How many sides or points does a snowflake have? Do we have any guessers on the call? I see Gabby has a pretty astute observation. Doesn't it depend, as all snowflakes they're unique, but even the unique ones have 6 sides. There you go. So it's A. And so often when you look at your, when people do a cardboard cutout or a paper cutout of a snowflake, they usually include the 6 sides to the snowflake. Now we've talked about the polar vortex, right? This is the cold Arctic air that lives and breathes up at the North Pole, right? It moves around counterclockwise. But when you get a sudden warming event at that level, roughly between 6 miles and 31 miles, 6 to 11 is where I'm going to focus on, but 6 to 31 is what I was indicating was happening on the 18th. So if you look at this, takes about 30 to 45 days to feel the opposite effect. While it's warm here, warm air rises, cold air sinks. I'll say that again. Warm air rises, cold air sinks. And I've used the example many times of the paddleboard, stand-up paddleboarder. They might think the forecast is great, and it is. Sunny, no problem there. But what they didn't anticipate is a sudden stratospheric warming event, which is represented by a speedboat. And all of a sudden, the speedboat creates crazy waves, in this case, cold waves, so that by the time we get to the 18th of November into the 18th of December, suddenly it's going to turn Arctic cold again. This is what it looked like on the 19th. It looked even warmer. On the 20th, it looked like this. It was incredibly hot relative to the cycle. And then now we moved into the 24th. It looked really bad. I believe it was what day was this? I believe it was the 26th, the week of the 26th. There it is, 28th. So by the time we get to the 28th of December, or approaching New Year's Eve, you're going to think, oh my gosh, where did this cold air come from? And it's really because it's like squeezing it from the bottom of a toothpaste tube, right? When warm air rises, cold air sinks. And when warm air rises, we all remember that from middle school science class. So we're going to find that displacement. Usually what happens is that counterclockwise movement reverses, and all of that Arctic air pushes down to the Great Lakes. And in modified form, it's going to arrive to Hampton Roads. So when I have a low of 23 on Monday morning next week, then you'll be able to connect, hopefully, the dots that probably coincided roughly with what was going on around the 18th of November. This will be the 15th of December coming up on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go. Let's keep moving. I know that this cold air does tend to ebb and flow, and you can see this chilly air here coming down at times. One of the cold things, or one of the bigger stories I wanted to show you, if I can move this map a little bit faster, is the fact that it kind of moves in lobes. It's like it spins down, and then it retreats, it spins down, and so we're going to see this, I think, going through the 12th of December and well beyond in time, because there's more where that came from. If you flip it on its head, so to speak, there's a lot more cold air that's building. Today's high in Norfolk, 43. Our normal high, 56. So far, we've picked up 0.2 inches of snow. We'll get the latest update from the Weather Service momentarily, but 72 is the record high from 1998. And this is where it's astonishing, where the only day that was normal was Tuesday, December 2. December 2nd was, in fact, the normal month or normal day of the month, but we've been cold ever since. I mean, let's face it, tomorrow will be lucky to hit 39. So we've had 7 below normal days, 1 at normal, but 0 above, and that's why I had advertised December as a cold month. Airport delays, not much to see here. I like to show this to see if we're looking at the national map, if weather is slowing anybody down. Many of us who might be in the military, have family in the military, if you're wondering what's going on back home, home could be many places for you. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle's getting pounded with a storm that's moving onshore. They're getting some snow in parts of western Montana, not far from Missoula. Many of the Great Lakes are pretty quiet, although it looks like some snow now moving through Minneapolis, St. Paul. But we've been focused on, for good reason, what's been happening on and around Hampton Roads. No question it's been snowing here, and this will begin to break up, as it has shown signs of breaking up in parts of Williamsburg, Wakefield, and all the rest. So this will be winding down the next couple of hours. 30 degrees right now in Virginia Beach, 33 in Norfolk. These are our current temperatures. It's now 8:06. Just checking in with you if you got some comments. Current temperature in Surrey is 30. Williamsburg is at 30, while it's 34 in Edenton. Nags Head's coming in at 40. Manio is coming in at 41 degrees. I got some other notes. Let's see here. Ambler has a question. Let me put Ambler on here. Ambler says, and I'll follow his note here, what's the snow look like at Wintergreen and Massanutten, Virginia ski resorts? Good question. I think most of it, it's always a good time to get an early start. But yes, I believe Wintergreen opened up this past weekend. And Massanutten, which I visited just a couple weeks ago for the very first time, great place. They would have gotten some snow, but it looked like the lion's share came around the Petersburg, Richmond area. So even if they got a ½ inch to an inch, it's a better start because they're always constantly making the snow, and they wouldn't be opening if they didn't have some kind of snowmaking capabilities, which I know that many of them do. As we go back to the maps here, just want to wrap up something here. It's at 8:07. 32 in Smithfield. Actually, when you look at the broader view, it's 24 in Beckley, 21 in Columbus, and 20 in Pittsburgh. Now, I don't expect it to get that cold tonight, but some of that cold air is lingering back toward the Ohio Valley. And you want to see this polar vortex coming down. Look at this. I mean, you could carve it out. Look at the coloring, the purple. It's brutal, right? It comes modified into town here, but I think next week, there will be a front that comes in and just drops it. And here's a great illustration of it. Take me to December 15th. Tell me what you see. Do you see that white area just bleeding all the way down to the Great Lakes? That's coming next week. And it will ebb and flow. I understand that. That's part of the territory. But it will be brutally cold for a while where some will say, man, that's too much to take. So if you look at the Climate Prediction Center, December 16th through the 22nd, you can clearly see the Great Lakes and parts of New England are below normal. If you want above normal temperatures, you'd have to go out west. Now the Eastern Shore tomorrow, upper 30s for Onancock, 38 for Saxis, Chincoteague 42, Bloxham about 40, expecting a mix of sun and clouds, about a 10% chance of rain here, 39 in Exmoor, 38 in Cape Charles. That's cold, and even the Outer Banks will struggle to get out of the lower 40s. 43 for Kill Devil Hills, 44 for Nags Head, Manio-Wanchese, about 46 for Ocracoke, 47 for Hatteras tomorrow. Storm Prediction Center really haven't focused much on this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see this as well. It looks pretty quiet across much of the country. Yeah, for tomorrow, nothing to see, nothing to see, nothing to see. So let me go through the hour by hour, because I know this will help for those who have plans. So maybe you have to be out on the roads tonight or early tomorrow. So clearly at 9 o'clock, it hasn't stopped, but it's breaking up to more scattered snow showers and rain showers. So if I carry this to about, well, keep on going, stop it maybe at 11 o'clock, it stops. And now you can see the fact that we go through the next couple of days, it's going to continue on in this path. So really what I'm looking forward in the time frame, as I forgot to put my stop points in here, what we're going to continue to see, I think, over time is the fact that we're going to see some improvement. Let me get through this map here. So the snowfall potential has already come to play. Tomorrow morning, we're about 29 degrees on the south side, 26 degrees in other areas. And I'm going to show you where 26 would be around Suffolk. So a lot of those who have snow cover on the ground, you could actually be a lot colder than what these numbers would indicate. 21 Wakefield, 20 Waverly, about 29 in Moyock, 26 in Gatesville. So here's your Tuesday afternoon, expecting a high about 39, low 40s for the peninsulas, generally about 44 potentially for parts of North Carolina. But you're going to be hard pressed. 40 in Portsmouth, 38 Cape Charles, 40 in Hampton. Highs tomorrow in the upper 30s for Cortland, Smithfield, and Newport News for your Tuesday afternoon high. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 370 forecast. So 39 Tuesday, 53 Wednesday. Then we get a pullback. It's still partly cloudy, although Friday may include a few drops and flakes. Emphasis on flakes if it occurs in the morning, because I have our temperature down to about 30. Then we have a really nice day set up for Saturday for all those holiday parties or shopping that you're doing. Maybe you're headed to the Christmas Village again. They're still in business and running the Christmas Village again this weekend. There's other opportunities to get out to the Garden of Lights. I was there last night. Or maybe a parade or two that you might be attending. But really, this is really where we're headed on Sunday night. This 49 comes in the morning. So it's really most likely by the time we hit, say, the start of Hanukkah, which is the evening of the 14th, I think you're probably in the lower 30s, upper 20s when the sun goes down, because it will eventually drop like a stone to about 23 degrees, I think, on Monday morning of the 15th. So it's going to be much, much colder where we're struggling to get above 35. So that's the potential. I hope you're ready for it all the same. I got a couple of the pictures, I believe. Let me put them on the screen here. This is from Sandra Snyder. She had this picture at 410. So York County, they got snow. Sandra and Grafton representing some snow there. Also the Thor's first snow in Gloucester. Deandra Ward had this great picture. Now, this is their dog's first chance to go through the snow, but I would urge you to remind you that it's great when the dog has the chance to go to some fluffy snow. But tomorrow morning, it's going to be crunchy, and it might be a little icy for their paws. So make sure that your dogs are cared for and that you're not just letting them run rapidly, because otherwise you're going to suddenly see that their paws have been injured, and that's not a good sign either. So make sure you take care of the dogs tonight as they have to go out first thing in the morning. I get it. Cheryl had this great picture from Gloucester snow today. I want to thank Cheryl for capturing this. This was around the Gloucester courthouse, she said, but you're looking at obviously at trees and areas around the courthouse. So here's your first warning. WTKR News 370 forecast once again, 39, 53 high temperatures for the next couple of days. I mentioned if you want a deal, the deal is the Pozzoli. The best deal of the week is the $5 Pozzoli, the pepperoni and sausage. All you have to do is use the promo code WTKR David. Our friends at Marcos have been extremely generous, not only this holiday season, but going all the way back to May when they've been giving away all sorts of pizzas, which we will do in this abbreviated week, so stay tuned. I will be off a couple of days, so I wanted to let you know. WTKR.com/Marcos is in fact the place to go to sign up. There are 6 locations in the 757 that are participating in the $5 Pozzoli, but you could also win free pizza for a year, and some of you might be surprised who wins. It might be a neighbor that you know. It might be somebody who watches the live stream all the time. We'll have to wait and see, but that announcement will be made tomorrow. The Pozzoli is pictured on the left. I'll make sure you get some dipping sauce like a pizza cup marinara. It's really good. And the pepperoni magnifico. The Pozzoli is great with a Greek salad or a garden salad if you so choose. but they also have gluten-friendly cauliflower crust if you are gluten sensitive. They've got that too. So just want to thank you all for your time tonight. I know that we talk a lot about, as I reset, about all the things that happened with the snow. Some got more than they wanted, some got not enough. And sometimes that's just the way it is. I'm just the messenger. But I can tell you this. Every day, just remember, it doesn't matter if it's sunny or serious. Every day is a gift. Make the most of it in your neighborhood. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.